Welcome back to the class. This is the second lecture related to the poem on his blindness. Children, in the previous lecture, we talked about the background of the writer John Milton. He belongs to the Puritan age. During his time, all the anti-religious poetry, anti-religious books, they were banned. Only the things related to religion, only the things which were which were in the favor of government and religion, they were allowed. All the other things were shut down. Now let's talk about the poem. Children, this poem is a very special poem because the style of John Milton, poetry of John Milton, the language of John Milton, they are quite different from others. So to understand this poem, you have to understand some basic terms. Many things will be new to you. You may find it boring also. You may not understand those things also. But I'll try to clarify my point to the maximum extent. Actually, last year when I taught this poem, as I have told you, it is the last poem. We completed this poem towards the end of December. But before that, we have already done different phonetic symbols. If you look at the end of the chapter in the first section, intensive study, lessons for intensive study chapter, you will see we have some phonetic symbols. In
Yes, sir.
phonetic symbols, we have consonant sounds as well as uh, vowel sounds. Then syllables are also there. Because of lockdown, we were not able to cover all those things. They are not in your syllabus, but we did it last year. I taught all the 44 phonetic symbols to the children and the syllables also. Because of that, they were able to understand the meaning of iambic pentameter. You may not be able to understand this, but still I will tell you so that if anybody else sees the video who knows the meaning of syllable, the meaning of meter, because these things are very special so far as the poetry of John Milton is concerned. Children, his style is so unique that it cannot be copied by anybody. It cannot be reproduced. It's such an amazing style. So let's talk about the poem now. We have already talked about the writer. Now in this lecture, we'll talk about the poem. If we are able to finish those things, then we will start with the poem also. This poem is a very small poem, only of 14 lines, but it may take minimum 4 lectures will be taken, but it may take 5 or 6 lectures also. I will try to finish it in 4 lectures only, but let's see how the things materialize. Talking about the poem, I have already told you that this poem, now I am talking about some interesting things related to this poem. First of all, children, this is a sonnet. Do you know the meaning of sonnet? This is also a new term for you. But
So,
if we talk about English literature, English poetry, this is a very common term. But for the first time, you are reading a sonnet. That's why maybe this term is not known to you. You must not be familiar with this term. Don't worry, I'll tell you. Sonnet. Sonnet is a poem having 14 lines. A poem of 14 lines is called sonnet. This is also a sonnet because this poem has also got 14 lines, right? Shakespeare was a great poet. He also used to write sonnets only. All the poems written by William Shakespeare, they are sonnets. He has written 152 sonnets and 37 plays, full length plays. Now coming back to John Milton and the poem on his blindness, this is also a sonnet. Why it is a sonnet? Because it has got 14 lines. Is the meaning of sonnet clear to you?
yes, sir.
Sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. There are two types of sonnets. Rhyme scheme. Children, rhyme scheme is very important in sonnet. Rhyme scheme is very important in sonnet. two types of sonnets are there. One is Shakespearean sonnet. One is Shakespearean sonnet. And one is Miltonic sonnet. Miltonic sonnet means the sonnet written by Milton, John Milton. Children, just imagine the rhyme scheme of sonnet becoming popular by the name of a writer. It is in itself a great thing. I mean, the sonnets written by Shakespeare, they are called Shakespearean sonnet. Only the sonnets written by Shakespeare are not called Shakespearean sonnet. Any sonnet which has got a specific rhyme scheme, I will tell you the rhyme scheme. If any sonnet has that rhyme scheme, we can call it a Shakespearean sonnet. Similarly, Miltonic sonnet, or it is also called Italian sonnet, or it is also called Petrarchan sonnet. What is the difference between two? What is the difference between two? In Shakespearean sonnet, we have the rhyme scheme A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. Children, this is the rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet. Anywhere, if we find this rhyme scheme in any poem of 14 lines, it is called Shakespearean sonnet, or you can also say that this poem has got the rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnets. And let's talk about Miltonic sonnet. Miltonic sonnet is also called Italian sonnet, or it is also called Petrarchan sonnet. A, B, A, B, B, A, B, B, A. You can learn it as Abba, Abba. Then C, D, E, C, D, E. It can be C, D, E, C, D, E also, or it can be C, D, C, C, D, C also, or it can be C, D, D, C, D, D also. Children, the first feature of sonnet is clear to you? Yes. What is the first feature of sonnet? Sir, rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme. Yes. Children, whenever we talk about sonnet, we always talk about rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme will be either the rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet, or it will be the rhyme scheme of Miltonic sonnet. So this is first thing associated with a poem on his blindness. First thing is that it is a sonnet, and which sonnet? It is a Miltonic sonnet, because it has got the rhyme scheme A, B, A, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. I think the first thing is clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me tell you something more about the style of this writer. Second thing is, it is written in blank verse. Blank verse means that iambic pentameter is used. Iambic pentameter is used. What is iambic pentameter? 10 syllables.
10 syllables used in one line.
Each line. In each line. In every line, you will have 10. Children, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to keep a balance of the syllables, keep a balance of the rhyme scheme, then keep a balance of the words. It's very difficult. So this is the beauty of this writer. This is the beauty of this poem, that it is written in blank verse. It has got iambic pentameter. One first syllable will be unstressed, then stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. How many things we have discussed so far? We have discussed 4 things related to this poem. First thing, it is a sonnet. Second thing, it has got the rhyme scheme, Abba, Abba, C, D, E, C, D, E. We'll see what rhyme scheme it has, C, D, E, C, D, C, or C, D, D. We'll see when we recite the poem. Then third thing, it has been written in blank verse. Fourth thing, it has got iambic pentameter. First label is unstressed, then stressed like this. Now the next thing related to this poem. Next thing related to this poem is it is written in first person pronoun. How it is written in first person pronoun? Because
the
I
poet
is
used I.
poet is using the word I. Actually, children, it is an autobiographical poem. It is an autobiographical poem. Autobiographical poem. This is the sixth thing associated with this poem. Fifth thing is that this poem has been written in first person pronoun. Then it is an autobiographical poem. Children, what do you mean by autobiography? One is biography, one is autobiography. What is the difference? Biography is the story of a person written by somebody else.
Yes, sir.
For example, any writer writes the story of Sachin Tendulkar. That will be an autobiography. But if Sachin Tendulkar writes his own story, that is autobiography. Autobiography is the story or anything written about somebody by the same person. So in this poem, Milton is writing something about himself only, right? So that's why this poem is also called an autobiographical poem or autobiography of John Milton. These 7 things are clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
First, it is a sonnet. Second, it has got Miltonic rhyme scheme. Third, it is written in blank verse. It has got iambic pentameter. Then fifth, it is written in first person pronoun. And the next autobiographical poem. Now let me tell you something more about sonnet. This is something about the style of John Milton in this poem. Now I'll tell you something about sonnet. Children, sonnet, as I have already told you, it has got how many lines?
14 lines.
14 lines. And these 14 lines are divided into 8 lines and 6 lines. This is a very important thing I am telling you about the sonnet. This is not related to sonnet only. This is related to this poem also. Because all the things we are discussing, they are related to John Milton, they are related to On His Minor, but you will find all these things in many other poems also. There are so many other writers who have written sonnets, like W.B. Yeats. He has also written some sonnets. There also you will find the same type of things all there. So children, I have told you a sonnet has got how many lines? How many lines?
14 lines divided into 8 lines and 6 lines.
Yes. 14 lines divided into 8 and 6. This is the first part. This is the second part. The first part is called octave. Octave means 8 lines, right? Group of 8 lines. That is called octave. This is the first part. This is the first part. And whenever we are talking about sonnet, this is the special feature of sonnet. Whether you talk about Shakespearean sonnet or you talk about Miltonic sonnet, they are always divided into 2 parts, right? Here we are talking about Miltonic sonnet. This is divided into 2 parts. The first part is called octave and second part is called sestet. S-E-S-T-E-T, sestet. This is second part. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I am giving you the information about sonnet and I am also giving you the information about this poem because all the things related to the sonnet are applicable or they are seen in this poem also, On His Blindness. So with this poem you will understand the meaning of sonnet, the concept of sonnet, And when you read some more sonnets, you will understand how they are related to each other. Now look at these two parts of a poem. The first part is called octave, second part is called sestet. And in Miltonic sonnet, you will always see in the first part, the poet will discuss some problem. The poet will always discuss some problem in the first part. Then in the second part, we will get a solution. Then in the second part, we will get a solution of that problem. And you will see from eighth line, maybe from seventh or eighth line, it will take some, the poem will take some turning point. The poem will take a turning point. And this turning point is called volta. This turning point is called volta in English language. If you talk about the language of literature, this turning point is called volta. Why? How it is volta? Because from problem, the poet turns towards solution. In the beginning, the poet, you will see, in the beginning, the poet is very frustrated. Then slowly, he will take a turning point. This turning point is called volta. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Children, these are new things to you. You have not heard these things so far. Maybe you will not hear it if you don't study English literature. But if you study English literature, these things are very common things. Blank verse, iambic, pentameter, sonnet, octave, sestet, volta, rhyme scheme. These are very common words. Metaphor, simile, transferred epithet, synecdoche, euphemism, alliteration, personification. These are very simple things so far as English literature is concerned. Children, I can explain you the poem without these things also, but I don't want to leave anything. I want that after the completion of the poem, you are able to understand everything. You are able to interpret all the possible situations, all the possible literary devices associated with the poem. That's why I may take some more time in explaining this poem. These things are very important. All these things are related to this poem, and with the help of these things, you can understand other poems also easily. Other poems mean other sonnets. If at all you try to read this, yes, okay. I hope this thing is clear to everyone.
Yes,
So
sir.
sonnet has got 14 lines divided into two parts. The first part is called octave, containing 8 lines. The second part is called sestet, containing 6 lines. In the first part, the poet always discusses some problem, and in the last part of the poem, the poet finds a solution to that problem. And when the poet is turning from problem towards solution, that turning point is called volta. Children, this turning point can come in 7th line also, 8th line also, 9th line also. Okay? In this poem, the turning point comes at the end of 8th line. When the poet is moving from 8th to 9th line, then we see a big turning point. Then we see a big turning point in the thinking of the poet, in the situation, in the mentality. That is called volta. That is called turning point in this poem. So children, this is something about the technique, or you can say the style of On His Blindness, of poet in On His Blindness. How many things we have discussed? First thing, that it is a sonnet. Then second thing, it has got Miltonic rhyme scheme, Abba Abba, CDE CDE. Then next thing, it is written in blank verse. Fourth thing, it has got iambic pentameter. Next, it is written in first person pronoun. Then sixth thing, it has got it is an autobiographical poem. Then we have discussed these things. The poem is divided into two parts, octave and sestet. In octave, the poet is discussing about the problem. Then in sestet, the poet is talking about the solution. And in between, after 8th line, we see a turning point. we see different what you say ideology of the poet that is called Volta, or the turning point. I hope something is clear to you about the poem and the poet.
Yes, sir.
John Milton was the king of his time. Nobody was there to give him competition. And from style only, you can well imagine it is such a unique, that he is such a unique poet. Iambic pentameter, then blank verse. These things are very difficult. Shakespeare used to use these things. Some other great writers are also there, but John Milton was different from all the others. Now let's start the recitation of the poem. As you all know, we are in the habit of reciting the poem twice. In the first recitation, we'll see the rhyme scheme. I have already written so many things on the book, it's quite difficult to see the actual text. But anyways, we have to continue. So I start the first recitation of the poem. Try to focus on the rhyme scheme of the poem. Page number 119, poem number 8, On His Blindness, written by John Milton. When I consider how my light is spent, and half my days in the dark world and white, and that one talent which is death to hide, lodged with me useless, though my soul more bent, to serve therewith my Maker and present my true account, lest be he returning child, doth God exact day labor light denied? I fondly ask, but patience to prevent that murmur soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts. Who best bear his mild yoke, this serve him best. His state is kingly, thousands at his bidding speed, and post over land and ocean without rest. They also serve who only stand and wait. So this is the first recitation of the poem. Now let's discuss the rhyme scheme. Children, it is such a difficult poem. You cannot understand without taking the help of dictionary, without taking the help of Bible. You will see some concepts of Bible are also discussed in this. Before we start with the poem, I will tell you those two concepts of Bible also, so that you can understand this poem. Children, I have already told you that Milton belongs to the Puritan age. Only religious poetry was written during that time. This is also totally a religious poem. This poem is dedicated only to one what you say power, that is Almighty. This poem is also about God. Let's discuss the rhyme scheme of this poem. Spent is A, then the second word is not matching with first, it is B. Spent wide, then hide is matching with wide. Then bent. Bent is matching with A. So this is the rhyme scheme. The first four lines has the rhyme scheme Abba. Let's see the next one. Present. Present is also matching with A. Then child is matching with B. Hide or wide. Then denied is also matching with B. Then C, prevent is matching with A. So this is the rhyme scheme of octave. What is the rhyme scheme of octave?
Abba.
Abba, Abba. A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A. You can remember the rhyme scheme like this, Abba, Abba. Then see the next line. Need is not matching with A or B. So this is C. Best not matching D. Need, best, state is E. Then speed is matching with need. Rest is matching with best. And weight is matching with state. So this is the rhyme scheme of sestet. This is the rhyme scheme of sestet. I hope the rhyme scheme is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Children, there will definitely be a question on rhyme scheme. If a question is there in the exams from this poem, then definitely the question of rhyme scheme will be there, because this poem is a sonnet, and the first main thing related to sonnet is its rhyme scheme only. I have already told you the rhyme scheme of Shakespeare and Milton's sonnet also. What is the rhyme scheme of Shakespeare? A B A B, right? C D C D E F E F G G. And what is the rhyme scheme of Milton's sonnet or Miltonic sonnet? A B B A, then C D E C D E, or C D C C D C, or C D D C D D. Here we have got the rhyme scheme A B B A, C D E C D E. This is the rhyme scheme of Miltonic. This is a typical Miltonic sonnet. As there is no doubt about this poet, this sonnet is written by Milton. Obviously, he will use the rhyme scheme. This rhyme scheme is popular in the sonnets written by John Milton. So this is a typical Miltonic sonnet because it has got the rhyme scheme Abba Abba C D E C D E. I hope the first thing is clear to you. The rhyme scheme is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Now I will try to recite the poem once again. Guess the meaning. It is not easy to guess the meaning without the help of dictionary, without the help of some concepts related to Bible. Page number 119, poem number 8, On His Blindness by John Milton. When I consider how my light is spent, and half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent which is death to hide, lodged with me useless, though my soul more bent, to serve there with my maker and present my true account, lest he returning chide, doth God exact day labor light denied? I fondly ask, but patience to prevent, that murmur soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts, who best bear his mild yoke, they serve him best. His state is kingly, thousands at his bidding speed, and post over land and ocean without rest. They also serve who only stand and wait. What a beautiful composition. In just 14 lines, the poet has captured the essence of life. The poet has shown his dedication towards his maker. Such a great poem it is. At the end of this poem, you will, if you understand this poem, of course, you will be able to understand it. I try my best and make you understand. So at the end of this poem, you will definitely wish to surrender yourself to the will of God. Whatever happens in this world happens for some cause. The theme of this poem is to surrender in front of the will of the God. How a person can surrender to the will of God? Because only God has the ability to change the person's fate, to change the person's future. So in this poem also, you will see God has changed his thinking. In the beginning of the poem, the poet is very upset, and at the end of the poem, the poet is totally satisfied. Why he becomes
Sir,
totally satisfied? Yes.
only 2 minutes are left, sir.
Okay. Let me finish. So today we will not be able to start the first line. Tomorrow definitely I'll try to finish octave in 2 lectures. I'll try to do it in 1 lecture, but I don't think that in 1 lecture it is possible to complete octave. I'll try to do it in 2 lectures. So children, the theme of this poem is to surrender yourself towards the will of God, right? To surrender yourself in front of God. This is the theme of this poem. In the first stanza, in the first part of the poem, that is octave, he is describing the problem. Then in sestet, he is describing about the solution. Children, you cannot say that this poem has 2 stanzas. You can say this poem has 2 parts, because if you look at the textbook of this poem, the first 3 lines are separate and 11 lines are separate. They are not making stanzas. This is just the style of the poet. right? You can say that this poem has been divided into two parts, or this poem is made up of two parts, octave and sestet. Don't call it stanzas. It does not have stanzas. In sonnet, we have the poetry in continuity only. We don't we don't divide the sonnet into different stanzas. Of course, we can divide the sonnet into different parts. Don't call it stanzas. You can say the poem is divided into two parts, octave and sestet. Octave contains 8 lines, sestet contains 6 lines. So children, today we have discussed something about the poet and something about the poem in 2 lectures. Tomorrow we'll start with the first line. Before that, I will tell you 2 important concepts related to this poem, which will be taken from the Bible. Okay, children, thank you very much. This is the end of the class.
Thank you, sir.